Here we're going to tie a fly called the Foxy Clouser. First thing we're going to do is just get our thread going near the eye of the hook. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to tie in some lead eyes about a quarter of the way back from the eye of the hook. We're just going to figure eight or X these around the shank of the hook. I'm going to go under them here to lock them in place. And after you get your eyes locked down, what I usually do is add a small dab of brush-on Zap-A-Gap glue. We'll skip that here though, just for demonstration purposes. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to tie in the tail of the fly. For that we're going to use some fox hair. I'm actually going to pull out all the under fur, just leaving the poofy tips exposed. And what we're going to do is we're going to tie these in. We want the hair to be about twice the length of the shank of the hook. So all I'm going to do is just tie this in right up here at the eye, lock it down. Then I'm going to jump underneath all that hair, then pull back the hair, then start to wrap back on top of it again. Very smooth wraps here. And then you're going to take your thread forward. We're going to trim out the butt ends of this hair. Kind of clean everything up real fast. We're going to jump our thread back and front. Don't worry about jumping your thread back and forth, we're just going to cover it all up. Now the next thing to do is to actually invert the hook. Now we're going to take a strand of copper crystal flash and 2 strands of copper Flashabou. You can use a little more if you like them a little flashy. You can use just 1 strand if you don't like the flash. It's kind of personal preference, but I like a kind of a medium amount. So I've got 2 strands of Flashabou and 1 strand of crystal flash. We're going to take these, we're going to wrap it around our thread, just like so, and then we're going to take it and place it right at the eye. We're going to wrap back up on this material so it just hangs off of the back. The next thing to do is to tie in the collar. For that I'm going to use the same amount of hair, some fox hair that I used for the tail. The larger the fly, the more you use. And again, I'm going to strip off all that under fur. Now we want this to be about the same length as the tail, so I just kind of measure it out. Once I've got it measured, I'm just going to tie it in right in front of the eyes. And I'm going to trim out the excess. Now this fly is usually tied better when it's sparse rather than too bushy. You can really get carried away with this fox hair if you're not too careful. This fly was designed to be moderately sparse, so don't overdo it with your fox. And you can just clean up everything, get rid of all the fuzzies. Get a nice tapered head to it. And then you can whip finish. And last step is to trim the Flashabou. I always trim it longer than the tail, so I just take it and stroke it back with my fingers, trim it just a hair longer than the tail. That is your basic Foxy Clouser. Oopsie. And what you're going to want to do also is you're going to super glue the head. You'll also super glue the body right there. That way fly doesn't fall apart on you when you're fishing it. Very effective bonefish fly, redfish fly. Looks like a little shrimp to fish. Also works on carp and bass and other fish. So that's the Foxy Clouser.